Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the impact of Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, Dragon Quest, Doctor Slump, and many other things of that nature. With his recent passing, I've been requested to do a number of episodes going over his history, his legacy, his place in the Hall of Fame of anime, and basically go through different parts of his career. And as usual, as one of our greats of our industry is no longer with us, many people have gone through and make articles and YouTube videos and that kind of stuff in regards to this topic. Now, the thing that I was going to add to this discussion is that if you were, say, for example, 10 years old when Dragon Ball came out back in '87, that would mean you would have to be at least 45 years old now. Okay? And so if you look at the people who are actually doing these articles and these dedications and things like that, you have to take account to their age that they are at. Because if they aren't, up in the 50s where I am, they didn't experience the initial rush of things like Doctor Slump and Dragon Ball. Okay, if they're a little bit younger, okay, so maybe in the in the 35 range, okay, they were probably about 10 years old when they first came out in the U.S. back in '95. Okay, so they are that would be probably a little more reasonable. They basically grew up in the Toonami era, where they were able to see things like Dragon Ball, Gundam Wing, Sailor Moon, the Inuyashas on TV while they're growing up. Okay, and so their view is a little different than my view, and so I hope you will join me as we go through all the various different topics and different parts. Now, again, this is going to be a fairly long sort of discussion, so I've broken up into different parts, and we'll go through them one by one. All right. So before I begin, I want you to go down below, click like and click subscribe. Anything that you write down or anything that you do like that does help the YouTube algorithm and gets people this video out to different people and all the different fans of Mr. Toriyama. All right. If you'd like to support me, I also have the PayPal and the Patreon links below, as well as the instructions on how to do things like media trades and that kind of stuff is also in that link down below, so you can go and check that out. Okay, and the other thing I want to make a mention of is I've now made and compiled a box set for my novels that I've written and the art book I've done. So basically, I've taken novel number 1 and novel number 2, put that in together with a box set with the art book for volume number 1. So basically, I've got Lynn's Melody and Daughter, Mother, and Friend. So those are the 2 novels, and they put together. And I also have the Art of Lynn, which is the guide art book for the first novel. All right, and I put it together into one box set. It currently is free on Amazon for a limited amount of time. So again, you can just go to Amazon. The links are below. You click on that. You hit the one button purchase click there, and it automatically adds that into your Amazon account. It doesn't cost you anything. You can read it on basically any device. You don't require to have a Kindle device to read it. And you can either just read it on Amazon, or you can just use the iBooks or whatever that happens to be on your computer, your phone, your Android, whatever. If you are on Kindle Unlimited, these books are all available for you as well for free. So if you are on that subscription service, and I thank all the readers that I've gotten on these things. Getting a lot of you guys from the UK and Germany. Thank you very much. A lot of the people who are clicking on the free purchases are from Canada, US, and Australia. So again, thank you very much. And again, it's free. Just download it and read it. I've sort of based the character design on things like Bible Black. The storyline is sort of like Discipline. And and basically kind of put it together into a kind of a romance novel kind of theme, and put that together for you. So again, if you're just go ahead and click on that, give it a read. If you want, leave a review. Anything really helps. All right. So thank you for that support. The other thing I'm doing is I'm also hosting my next anime giveaway for hitting episode 350. And again, you might want to check out those to see what free things that you might want to get with that giveaway. So again, do check the links out below to see that. Okay, my experience, experiencing it firsthand is obviously going to be different when the second wave people from the Western culture experiences it, right? I'm going to lend my perspective and my point of view because of my age. I'm able to, to lend that to people who are a lot newer, because obviously the newer generation, especially those people who are, let's say, 35 years or less, okay, they're going and at this basically the same way most would. They go to Google, they go to Wikipedia, they read lots of numbers and dates, but the problem is they don't know what those dates mean. They don't know where it fits into the puzzle of the timeline of anime as it occurred in North America. They don't know, the fact that, just they mentioned Dr. Slump and Dragon Quest and, obviously Dragon Ball, Chrono Trigger. They don't know where, what some of the history behind those things are and how how accessibility affects, their perception and of course the marketability of such titles. Okay, so I'm going to take this episode to go through and talk about that. All right, so without further delay, let's go. Again, in the previous episode, I've commented that I've spent at least 15 episodes, going through all the TV shows and that kind of stuff in the 1980s and compiled it onto a list. And made a top 30 titles for all of the 1980s on this thing. Again, if you want to go check my channel, there's a wealth of probably 30 episodes going through how to build this table. Now, from this spreadsheet, I'm going to pick only the TV shows, and this is going to basically give you an illustration of what the environment was in the 80s, right? Because obviously, if Dragon Ball came out in the 80s, Dr. Slump came out in the 80s, what kind of shows were out in the 80s that he had to, be in competition with. And that will give you an idea of what sort of genres and what kind of tropes and that kind of stuff are at in the industry at this particular time, okay? So obviously, we can go with your basic trope of a love story, okay? Now, of course, they didn't include every single one on there, but the ones that hit the top 30 are obviously things like Orange Road, Ranma, Urusei Yatsura, and Maison Akaku. And you can quickly see that, mostly dominated by Rumiko Takahashi, okay? And it's basically, guy chasing after the girl, and then you have to watch through the entire series of, maybe 100 episodes to find out whether or not the guy gets the girl at the end. Pretty simple premise. The next obvious trope that's in this list is the adventures of the boy, okay? And there's two of them in this one. There's the Galaxy Express 39 and the Astro Boy, okay? So basically, different adventures happen in various episodes in this quest of this particular youth, okay? So that's that type of trope, okay? And the last sort of, small sort of trope that's in this sort of list here is, what we refer to as the, the bounty hunters, the people for hire kind of trope, right? Obviously this is based off of a lot of those, sitcoms that happened in the 80s, where it is, there's nobody else that you can turn to, except if there's one person that you can call the A-team, or, when there's nobody else to turn to, you can call the equalizer, or, you need to hire a PI, Magnum PI is your guy, right? So basically things like that, obviously spawned a lot of these type of shows, right? So here we have in the list things like City Hunter, Dirty Pair, Cat's Eye, and I'm even going to sort of kind of combine together, but more or less Mobile Police Pat Labor is in that sort of genre, okay? So, so those are sort of like, the sort of really quick and basic tropes that are in there. The next really big category of tropes is the the Civil War type of conflict trope. Okay, so that's basically one warring side going against another warring side, relatively same sort of people type of thing, race or whatever. It's just that there's some sort of conflict and there's a huge war going on, and then we're going to focus on a character or a bunch of characters throughout this particular process and how they manage to turn the tides of the war or end it or do whatever their thing that they do with it, right? So shows that fall in this category in this particular type of thing would obviously be Gundam, Votums, Legend of Galactic Heroes. You can even throw something like Transformers in there, because obviously it's the the battle between Cybertron and Dekron and Unicron and all of this stuff, right? And also in the same sort of like is A Fist of North Star. Even though it's a post-apocalyptic nuclear war type of thing, he's fighting against all his other brothers to bring the warlords and stuff down, right? So it's the same kind of concept. Okay, and so that brings us to the last and probably the largest trope category for the 80s, and probably the most dominating genre through the 80s for anime TV shows that were in this popularity group is the "oh no, the aliens have come to attack the Earth," or obviously a place that we are at, so i.e. the Halo Reach concept. But here we are. We have these aliens coming, and they're beating us down, and then we have to find some sort of defense mechanism to go against them. Okay, so we have the first scenario, which basically is, okay, let's refit and let's rebuild a wreck, and let's use that to go against the aliens. Okay, so and that's basically your storyline for Macross and Yamato. Okay, then we can have the we have the story of this aliens attacking us, and we have to depend on one of our space forces, i.e. Same concept of, let's say, for example, Halo. In this particular case, here we have obviously the Southern Cross, and we also have Mospeada. The other type of conflict in this particular type of space thing would be is the aliens are attacking us, and there will be a single figurehead that will help resolve this war type of thing against the aliens. Okay, that's that is the key. And of course, this would be something like Queen Millennia, or Queen of 1,000 Years, right? And of course, Orgus, where K came from the time rift, and he's the missing piece between the multiverse going on there. Okay. And the last one, which is probably the most major significant one, is some particular squad has to come in because nobody else, the regular military is not good enough to fight against these aliens or the invaders or whatever, and so this special team or whatever has to get together, and they're technologically advanced enough to fight against the aliens. Okay, so we start off with the 3 guys and a girl type of team. Okay, that basically is Dan Cougar and Bismarck. You can have the 2 guys and a girl team. That gives you Borgman and Zillion. Okay. You could have the spiritual leader and the team. Okay. That would basically give you Shirato and Saint Seiya. You could have the brother-sister team with their team. Okay, that's Machine Robo. And you can have the team of 5 samurai guys. That's obviously Samurai Troopers or Ronin Warriors. All right. So pretty simply, that's all the different types of genres that they had in the 80s. Okay. Now, one of the things that Akira Toriyama was really good at is he was good at seeing what the Western market in the popular media was interested in. And he concentrated on 2 fields because he was a fan of both of them. He looked at science fiction and martial arts movies, which are pretty much the same things that I was going through and liking, going through the 80s, right? So that's why I really connected, and I think for a lot of people in that sort of era, that's what we really connected with, So I decided, okay, you know what, I'm going to go through and look through what some of the most popular science fiction movies were back in the 80s. And I came up with a short list, and they all have a pretty simple theme, actually, when I was going through them. And I'll read the titles out to you, and you see if you can figure out what's so similar about all these science fiction movies that I'm making mention of. Okay? Right? They had, from the 80s, Buckaroo Banzai, Aliens, The Terminator, Predator, Flash Gordon, RoboCop, He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Galaxina, Mad Max, Tron, Dune, The Last Starfighter. Okay, so without mentioning the other big, obviously IPs like Star Wars and Star Trek, what's one thing that's on common all of these? One hero, a single guy, right, is the focus, the person that's going to be the savior, the story all about him, the building up of a hero, finding out, flaws and weaknesses. He overcomes them, and he manages to, arise and become, above the aliens or the invaders or whatever, right? And that's, essentially the model for how you make Goku, right? You want to have a strong lead hero, and go through his troubles, his beginnings, his weaknesses. He's start when he's young, so he doesn't know much, and then as he grows up, he knows more. He gets things happen to him. Extra characters come in place. That's the hero building formula, and he spotted this, and how it works in science fiction, and he realized that this is how the story and whatnot of how Goku works. So that's why I think in many ways how it really appeals to people in the West more than maybe it would appeal to people in Japan, right? Because maybe they're more interested in the guy trying to find the girl, or the guy trying to be the best of the baseball team, or the guy being a boxer, the guy trying to be the best at the soccer team. All these sort of things, sure, probably would have worked in Japan as Touch, Nine, and Captain Tsubasa, and Ashton Ojo, right? If you want to go in tennis, it's like aim for the ace, things like this. That probably works really well in Japan, but maybe it doesn't work elsewhere in the world. And that's one of the things that he managed to spot. That's one sort of hole that he managed to figure out, that he needed to focus on the actual creation of the hero and everything from a popular media point of view. And I think he saw that. And that's why when Dragon Ball got out to the masses, we here were already so used to this trope that we quickly adapted and saw that Goku filled this mold exactly the way that we've been already sort of very used to in our popular culture. Okay, and the second big genre type that I mentioned earlier was martial arts movies. And again, at this time, the biggest market for that is Hong Kong martial arts movies. That again was very popular. A lot of people had access and that kind of stuff. I remember my parents used to always get these sort of martial arts and triad type movies and that kind of stuff. So they always had that kind of stuff in them. But of course, in the Western culture, things like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, probably things like Sammo Hung, all are very popular artists that made those particular types of movies. And again, focusing on a hero that is also a martial artist like that, put that into some sort of workings, and then it basically ends up being different than what you would have, let's say Saint Seiya or Shurato, or like even like Samurai Troopers, right? it's just different enough. So that's what he managed to basically thread the needle through the mess of animes and genres that we had at this particular time. And so he's very clever to find something like Dragon Ball that worked really well. And so when it hit over here, it had an almost welcoming effect, because the fact that we were already immersed in this popular culture pocket over here, and Dragon Ball was the perfect fit in that market. So that's why it was really well adapted, and many people saw the many different facets and in the characters, the jokes, and the progression of the plot, what the story was about, things like that, are all things that we gravitated towards and really saw familiarity with. And I think that's one of the things that added to his recipe for success over here. All right, so I'm going to wrap up the episode now. They're hitting about the 20-minute mark here, so that'll be enough for this particular episode. I'm going to continue more about the different things of Dragon Ball, including some of my first experiences with it, as well as marketability and whatnot in the next episode, okay? So remember to go down below and make sure you're subscribed, okay? So now we have a good idea of where he sort of sits, in the, shall we say, the Hall of Fame of manga artists. Okay, we've kind of now talked about why Dragon Ball as a show, for example, hit the market just right for us, and why it was the ticket of success that it was. And then we're going to go to the next episode and we'll talk about some other factors that may have helped out and maybe actually would have done better if the marketing was right. And I'm going to comment about that in the next episode. So again, stay tuned. There will be more on this topic. All right? Okay, hope you found that really interesting. And again, this is only one segment of this series I'm doing for Akira Toriyama. So again, you want to make sure you're subscribed below, and then we'll get the other parts where we go into this discussion of his influence and his other works and whatnot. Okay? So, until next time, I will see you again.